"You're nothing but a stepping stone," my wife sneered, laughing with her lover at our anniversary dinner. But I'd already uncovered their plot to ruin me, and my plan to destroy them was in motion. Jake Turner gripped the steering wheel of his F-150, the Austin skyline fading in the rearview as he sped toward his construction site. At 38, he'd built Turner Construction from a single toolbox into a multi-million-dollar empire, flipping luxury homes for tech moguls and oil barons. His wife, Lauren, 35, handled the real estate side, charming clients into million-dollar deals. Their 16-year-old son, Ethan, was learning to rebuild carburetors in their garage, a bond Jake cherished more than any contract. From the outside, they were the American dream. But tonight, that dream cracked. Jake's phone buzzed on the passenger seat. Ethan texting from home. "Dad, Mom's acting weird. She's on a call in her office," laughing all flirty. "Said she's working late again. Jag är gut twisted." Lauren had been distant for weeks, claiming client meetings, but her excuses didn't add up. Last night, she'd left her phone on the kitchen counter while showering. Jake, searching for a client's number, saw a text from C. "Can't wait for tomorrow. Big deal's almost done." No context, no last name, just a winking emoji that made Jake's skin crawl. He pulled into the site, where his crew was pouring concrete for a $3 million mansion. His foreman, Mike, waved him over. "Jake, you hear about Ramsey Development? Cole Ramsey's sniffing around our Lake Travis project, offering to undercut us by 10%. Jake's jaw tightened. Cole Ramsey, a slick rival developer, had been poaching their clients for months. The name hit harder now, paired with that mysterious C. Was Lauren working late, or working with him? At home, Jake found Ethan in the garage, wrench in hand, dismantling a '67 Mustang's engine. "What did you hear, kid?" Jake asked, keeping his voice steady. Ethan wiped grease off his hands. "Mom was on the phone for an hour. Called the guy Cole. Said something about sealing the deal and laughed like she used to with you. I checked her calendar. It's blank for tomorrow afternoon." Jake's pulse quickened. Lauren had told him she was showing a property downtown at 3 p.m. Lies were piling up. Jake sat Ethan down on a workbench. "I need you to keep this quiet, but I think your mom's hiding something. Maybe with Cole Ramsey." Ethan's eyes darkened, sharp like his dad's. "Ramsey? That guy who tried to lowball our Barton Springs bid? What's she doing with him?" Jake didn't answer. He didn't know yet. Instead, he handed Ethan a burner phone. "If she leaves tomorrow, text me where she goes. Don't confront her." Ethan nodded, loyal and resolute. "I've got your back, Dad." The next day, Jake worked on autopilot, signing permits while his mind raced. At 2:47 p.m., Ethan's text came. Mom left in her BMW. Said she's meeting clients at the Four Seasons. Took a bag she hid in her closet. Jake's stomach dropped. The Four Seasons was a 20-minute drive from their office, not a typical spot for client meetings. He called his buddy, Tom, a private investigator who owed him a favor. "Tom, I need you to tail someone. Lauren's at the Four Seasons. Find out who she's with and what they're doing. Discreetly." By 5 p.m., Tom sent photos. Lauren, stepping out of her car at the hotel, carrying a sleek leather bag. Minutes later, Cole Ramsey arrived in a silver Porsche, glancing around before entering through a side door. The final image showed them in the lobby, Cole's hand brushing Lauren's back as they headed to the elevators. Jake's hands shook as he zoomed in on Lauren's smile. Calculated, intimate, nothing like the one she gave him anymore. Tom's message followed. They booked a suite. "I'll get audio if I can." Jake drove home, rage simmering beneath his calm exterior. Ethan was waiting in the kitchen, his face pale. "She's not back yet, Dad. I checked her purse after she left. Found a receipt from a Dallas boutique. $500 for lingerie, dated yesterday." Jake took the receipt, the paper crumpling in his fist. Lauren had claimed she was in Austin all day, meeting a new client. The betrayal wasn't just personal, it was calculated. Cole Ramsey wasn't just a rival. He was a predator, and Lauren was his accomplice. That night, Jake sat in his office, the house silent except for Ethan's music drifting from upstairs. He pulled up Turner Construction's contracts on his laptop, $2. $5 million in deals for Lake Travis, Barton Springs, and Westlake Hills. All were joint ventures with Lauren's real estate firm. But Jake held the signing authority. If she was feeding Cole their business secrets, those contracts were at risk. He dialed his lawyer, Sarah Blake, a shark in asset protection. "Sarah, I need to lock down our assets." Lauren's working with Cole Ramsey, maybe selling us out. Can we transfer contracts to a trust? Sarah's voice was crisp. We can move them to a domestic asset protection trust, untouchable in a divorce. But we need hard evidence of her intent, affair, fraud, anything. Start documenting. Jake hung up, his mind racing. He wasn't just fighting for his marriage. He was fighting for his empire, his son, his life. Lauren thought he was a clueless husband, but she'd underestimated him. Jake Turner wasn't rolling over. He was building a plan, brick by brick, to bury her betrayal. Jake Turner sat in his truck outside the Austin office of his lawyer, Sarah Blake, clutching a USB drive with Tom's latest evidence. Audio of Lauren and Cole Ramsey plotting in their hotel suite. The recording was damning. Lauren laughing about cutting Jake out once Cole secured their Lake Travis contract. Jake's knuckles whitened. She wasn't just cheating. She was dismantling everything he'd built. He stepped into Sarah's office, handing over the drive. This proves she's leaking our deals to Ramsey, he said. What's our next move? Sarah plugged the USB into her laptop, her eyes narrowing as she listened. This is gold, Jake. Adultery plus business sabotage? We can bury her in court. But we need to act fast before she suspects her onto her. She outlined a plan. Transfer all major contracts to a trust Jake controlled, freeze joint accounts, and gather more evidence of Lauren's marital waste. Jake nodded, his mind already calculating. Start the trust today. I want our assets locked down by tomorrow. At home, Ethan was waiting, his phone buzzing with a new text from Lauren, staying late at the office. Big client pitch. Jake scoffed. Another lie. He texted Tom. She's working late. Track her. Ethan looked up from his laptop, where he'd been digging through Lauren's email, using a password he'd seen her type weeks ago. Dad, she's been emailing Cole about our West Lake Hills project. She sent him our cost breakdowns yesterday. Jake's stomach churned. That data could let Cole undercut their bid by thousands. Keep monitoring her emails, Jake told Ethan. But don't let her catch you. Ethan's jaw set, his loyalty unwavering. She's not getting away with this, Dad. Jake felt a pang of pride mixed with guilt. His 16-year-old shouldn't have to play spy. But Ethan was sharp, and Jake needed him. By 8 p.m., Tom sent confirmation. Lauren was at Cole's downtown condo, not the office. Jake saved the time-stamped photos, each one a nail in Lauren's coffin. The next morning, Jake met Sarah at a coffee shop to avoid suspicion. She slid a folder across the table. The trust is active. Lake Travis, Barton Springs, and Westlake Hills contracts are now under a Delaware holding company you control. Lauren can't touch them. Jake flipped through the documents, signing where indicated. What about our joint accounts? Sarah smirked. I've prepped an escrow transfer. We'll move the funds to a protected account Monday morning. She'll think the money's still there until she tries to access it. Jake spent the weekend gathering more evidence. Ethan found a hidden credit card statement in Lauren's desk. $3,000 in charges for a spa day and a diamond necklace. Billed the day she claimed to be at a charity event. Jake forwarded it to Sarah, who added it to the marital waste file. Tom sent video of Lauren and Cole dining at an upscale steakhouse, Cole slipping her a folder labeled Turner contracts. Jake's blood boiled. They weren't just stealing his business, they were mocking him. Sunday night, Jake called a meeting with his top crew at the construction site. Ramsey's trying to poach our deals, he told them, keeping Lauren's betrayal quiet. We're accelerating the Lake Travis build. Double shifts starting tomorrow. His crew, loyal after years of fair pay and honest work, agreed without hesitation. Jake knew keeping the project ahead of schedule would make Cole's stolen data useless. By midnight, he was back home, planning his next move. Ethan slipped into Jake's office, holding a thumb drive. I hacked Mom's cloud storage. She's got a folder labeled New Ventures with Cole. It's got emails about merging our company with his after they push you out. Jake took the drive, his heart pounding. The emails detailed Lauren's plan to convince their biggest client, a tech CEO, to switch to Ramsey Development. She'd even drafted a resignation letter for Jake, forged with his signature. The audacity hit him like a punch. Ethan, you're done spying, Jake said, his voice firm. This is enough. Stay with your cousin, Mike, tomorrow after school. Things are about to get messy. Ethan hesitated but nodded, sensing the shift in his dad's tone. Jake called Tom. I need you at the Four Seasons tomorrow. Lauren's meeting Cole there at 6 p.m. Get everything, video, audio, anything that shows they're planning to sabotage me." Tom agreed, promising a full report by morning. Monday dawned with Jake at Sarah's office again. She'd finalized the escrow transfer, $1.8 million from their joint accounts, now sat untouchable, pending a fraud investigation. Sarah handed Jake a draft of divorce papers, citing Lauren's affair and business misconduct. "File these when you're ready," she said. "But wait until we got Cole's next move locked down." Jake agreed, slipping the papers into his briefcase. He wasn't ready to confront Lauren yet. He wanted her to feel the trap close first. That evening, Tom delivered. His footage showed Lauren and Cole in a hotel bar, toasting with champagne. Cole bragged about taking Turner Construction for pennies, while Lauren promised to deliver the tech CEO's contract by week's end. Jake watched the video on his laptop, each word fueling his resolve. He forwarded it to Sarah, who texted back, "This is checkmate. Let's set the final play." Jake leaned back, the weight of betrayal heavy, but his path clear. Lauren thought she'd outsmarted him. Tomorrow, she'd learn how wrong she was. Jake Turner sat in his truck, parked in the shadows of the Four Seasons parking lot, watching the entrance. His lawyer, Sarah Blake, had texted him an hour ago. "Everything's ready. Confront her tonight." The divorce papers, asset transfers, and evidence of Lauren's betrayal were locked in, but Jake needed to see her reaction when the trap snapped shut. His phone lit up with a message from Tom, his private investigator. "Lauren and Cole just entered the hotel bar. I'm in position." Jake took a deep breath, steeling himself for the showdown. Inside, the bar hummed with low chatter, but Jake's focus zeroed in on Lauren and Cole Ramsey at a corner table, clinking glasses. Lauren's laugh carried over the crowd, sharp and confident, as if she owned the world. Jake slipped in unnoticed, taking a seat at the bar with a clear view. Tom, disguised as a patron, nodded subtly from across the room, his hidden camera rolling. Jake texted Sarah, "I'm here. Send the legal notice to her phone now." Seconds later, Lauren's phone buzzed. Her smile faltered as she read the screen. The notice, drafted by Sarah, was brutal. A court order freezing all joint accounts, citing fraud and marital waste, with a warning that her actions with Ramsey Development were under investigation. Lauren's hand trembled as she scrolled, her face paling. Cole leaned over, whispering, but she shoved him back, her voice low but sharp. "What the hell is this, Cole? You said this was foolproof." Jake's pulse quickened. He hadn't expected her to turn on Cole so fast. Jake stood, striding toward their table, his presence commanding silence. "Evening, Lauren," he said, his voice calm but laced with steel. She froze, her eyes wide with shock. Cole smirked, leaning back. "Jake, didn't expect you here. Care to join us?" Jake ignored him, sliding a folder onto the table. "These are divorce papers. Sign them, or we go to court with every email, text, and video of you two plotting to tame my company." Lauren's mouth opened, but no words came. Cole's smirk vanished as he flipped through the folder. Screenshots of their emails, bank statements showing Lauren's lavish spending, and Tom's footage of their hotel meetings. "You've got nothing," Cole bluffed, but his voice cracked. Jake leaned in. "I've got enough to bankrupt you, Cole. And Lauren, you're out of the business. The contracts aren't a trust you can't touch." Lauren's voice shook. "Jake, you can't do this. We built that company together." Jake's eyes narrowed. "You built a lie. I built an empire. And I'm not letting you sell it to him." He nodded toward Cole, who was now sweating, glancing at the exit. Jake dropped one last bombshell. "The tech CEO you try to poach? He's signing with me tomorrow. Your new venture is dead." Cole stood, muttering about lawyers, but Jake cut him off. "Your company's done, Cole. I sent your wife the same evidence. She's filing for divorce." Cole's face crumpled. He hadn't known his own marriage was collapsing. Lauren grabbed Jake's arm, desperate. "Please, we can fix this. I'll stop everything." Jake pulled away. "You stopped being my wife when you chose him. Be at the house tomorrow morning. You'll see what's next." By 8 a.m., Jake had movers at their Austin home, cataloging assets under Sarah's supervision. Lauren arrived, expecting to negotiate, but found her belongings packed in boxes on the lawn. A locksmith was changing the locks, and security cameras blinked above the door, signs declaring the property under surveillance. Jake handed her a single sheet of paper, a legal notice evicting her from the home, now owned by a trust. "You're not welcome here anymore," he said, his tone final. Lauren's voice broke. "Where am I supposed to go?" Jake didn't flinch. "Figure out like I did when you betrayed me. Ethan, standing by Jake's side, added, "You hurt Dad. You hurt us. We're done." Lauren's eyes welled up, but Jake turned away, guiding Ethan to the truck. As they drove off, Jake's phone pinged with an update from Sarah. Cole's company just lost its biggest investor. He's scrambling. Jake allowed himself a grim smile. The first dominoes had fallen. That afternoon, Jake met Sarah at her office to finalize the next phase. "We've got Lauren cornered," Sarah said, spreading documents across her desk. "She's got no claim to the business, and the evidence of her spending on Cole, hotels, jewelry, dinners, proves marital waste. She'll get nothing in the divorce." Jake nodded, but his focus was on Ethan. "I need to protect my son. Lauren might try to drag him into this." Sarah agreed. "We'll file for full custody, citing her abandonment and unethical conduct. Ethan's 16. His preference will carry weight in court." Jake exhaled, the weight of the fight settling in. He wasn't just saving his business. He was saving his family. Back home, Ethan was quiet, working on the Mustang in the garage. "Dad, what happens now?" he asked, setting down a wrench. Jake met his gaze. "We disappear. New town, new names, new start. You with me?" Ethan didn't hesitate. "Always, Dad." Jake spent the evening with Tom, planning their exit. Tom had a contact in Colorado, a fixer who could arrange new identities. Legal, clean, untraceable. By nightfall, Jake had wired $40,000 in cryptocurrency to the fixer for a new life as David Cole, contractor, with his son Ryan. The house, business, and past would stay in Austin, buried with Lauren's lies. As Jake packed a single bag, his phone buzzed. Lauren begging for a meeting. He didn't respond. The trap was set, and he was already gone. Jake Turner, now David Cole, drove through the winding roads of Durango, Colorado, with Ethan, now Ryan, beside him. The Austin skyline was a distant memory, replaced by rugged mountains and a fresh start. They'd arrived 2 weeks ago, settling into a modest ranch house with a spacious garage for their car restoration projects. Jake had wired the last of his cryptocurrency to secure new identities through Tom's fixer, a man named Harris, who guaranteed their past would stay buried. "You're ghosts now," Harris had said, handing over driver's licenses and a forged work history for David Cole, contractor. Jake felt the weight of freedom and vigilance. Ryan adjusted quickly, enrolling in a local high school under his new name. He spent evenings in the garage, rebuilding a '72 Chevy Nova with Jake, their bond a lifeline amid the upheaval. But Jake stayed on edge, checking his encrypted email daily for updates from Sarah Blake. Her latest message was clear. "Lauren's fighting the divorce, claiming you had assets. She's hired a PI to find you." Jake's jaw tightened. He'd expected Lauren to claw back, but not this fast. In Austin, Lauren was unraveling. Locked out of the house and business, she'd moved into a budget motel, scraping by on odd jobs for a small real estate firm. Her lawyer, a low-rent ambulance chaser, pushed her to track Jake, promising a big payout if they could prove he'd stashed money offshore. Lauren, desperate, pawned the diamond necklace Cole had given her to fund the PI. She spent nights scouring social media, searching for any trace of Jake or Ethan, unaware they were 800 miles away, living as strangers. Jake kept his new life airtight. He launched Cole Construction, landing a contract to build custom cabins for a ski resort developer. The work was honest, the client straightforward, but Jake never let his guard down. He installed security cameras around the house and taught Ryan to spot unfamiliar cars in their quiet neighborhood. One evening, Ryan rushed into the garage, his phone in hand. "Dad, a guy at school asked if I was from Texas. Said someone was asking about a kid my age who moved here recently." Jake's pulse spiked. Lauren's PI was closing in. Jake called Harris that night. "Someone's sniffing around. Can you run interference?" Harris, calm as ever, agreed to plant false leads, redirecting any searches to a decoy address in Montana. "It'll buy you time," Harris said, "but you need to plug any leaks." Jake hung up and checked his burner phone for Sarah's update. "Lauren's PI is digging into your old crew. One of them might have talked." Jake cursed under his breath. His foreman, Mike, knew he'd left Austin, but not where. Loyalty only went so far under pressure. The next day, Jake drove to a payphone outside town, calling Mike. "Anyone asking about me?" he asked, keeping it vague. Mike hesitated. "Some guy came by the site yesterday, offering cash for info on where you went. I told him nothing, Jake, I swear." Jake believed him, but doubled down. If he comes back, say I moved to Florida. No details. Mike agreed, his voice tense. Jake hung up, knowing he had to act before Lauren's PI connected the dots. Back home, Jake found Ryan sorting through a box of old tools, his face troubled. Dad, what if Mom finds us? What you want? Jake sat beside him, choosing his words carefully. She wants money, Ryan. She thinks she can guilt me into giving her what she lost. But we're not going back. Ryan nodded, his trust in Jake unshaken. I don't want to see her. Not after what she did. Jake clapped his shoulder. Then we keep moving forward. Together. Sarah called that evening with a breakthrough. Lauren's lawyer slipped up. They filed a motion claiming you stole marital assets. But we've got bank records proving she funneled $20,000 to Cole's company before you froze the accounts. It's fraud, Jake. We can countersue. Jake saw his chance. File it. Hit her with everything. Sarah drafted a countersuit, accusing Lauren of embezzlement and breach of fiduciary duty, attaching Tom's recordings of her plotting with Cole. The filing would crush her legal fight and her reputation. Meanwhile, Cole Ramsey's world was collapsing. His wife, tipped off by Jake's evidence, had drained their accounts in a divorce settlement, leaving Ramsey Development bankrupt. Cole, now working as a junior project manager for a rival firm, tried calling Lauren, begging her to help salvage their plan. She hung up, furious, realizing he'd used her as a pawn. Jake got word of this from Tom, who tapped Cole's phone. He's broke and desperate, Tom reported. Lauren's cut him off completely. Jake seized the moment to tighten his defenses. He met Harris in a Denver diner, handing over $10,000 to create a second layer of identity protection. New bank accounts tied to a shell company in Wyoming. If Lauren's PI gets close, they'll hit a dead end, Harris assured him. Jake nodded, but the stress was mounting. He couldn't shake the feeling that Lauren was a shadow, lurking just out of sight, ready to disrupt their new life. Late that night, Ryan found Jake in the garage, staring at the Nova's half-built engine. Dad, you okay? Jake forced a smile. Just planning, kid. We're safe, but we stay sharp. Ryan handed him a wrench. Then let's finish this car. No looking back. Jake took it, the simple act grounding him. Lauren's betrayal had taken everything once, but he'd rebuilt stronger. Now, with Ryan by his side, he was ready for whatever came next, even if it meant facing her one last time. David Cole, once Jake Turner, stood in the Durango garage, tightening bolts on the '72 Chevy Nova's engine. Ryan, formerly Ethan, worked beside him, their rhythm a silent testament to their rebuilt life. 5 years had passed since they'd fled Austin, leaving Lauren's betrayal behind. Cole Construction thrived, building high-end cabins for Colorado's elite. David's new partner, Emily, a local architect, shared his vision and his heart. But a call from Sarah Blake shattered their peace. Lauren's in Durango. She's asking around for you. David's grip on the wrench faltered. He'd known this day might come, but the timing stung. Ryan looked up, sensing the shift. What's wrong, Dad? David showed him the message. Your mom's here. She's digging. Ryan's face hardened. She doesn't get to ruin this. David nodded, dialing Harris, the fixer who'd crafted their identities. Lauren's in town. Can you track her? Harris confirmed, promising to monitor her movements and report back by morning. That night, David met Emily at a diner to explain. My ex is hunting me, he said, sliding a folder of evidence across the table. Lauren's emails, recordings, and the divorce papers. Emily scanned them, her eyes steady. You protected your son and your future. I'm with you. Her support grounded him. David instructed Ryan to stay home, locking the doors and checking the security cameras. If anyone comes by, call me immediately, he said. Ryan agreed, his resolve mirroring David's. By dawn, Harris had intel. Lauren was staying at a rundown motel on the edge of town, driving a battered sedan. She'd been showing David's old photo to locals, claiming he owed her money. Harris had fed her PI false leads, pointing to a non-existent address in Wyoming. But Lauren's persistence was relentless. David called Sarah. She's desperate. Can we shut this down legally? Sarah was ready. I'll file a restraining order today, citing harassment. We got her on record violating the divorce terms. Midday, David got a text from a local hardware store owner. Woman came in asking about you. Said she's your wife. I didn't tell her anything. David thanked him, then drove to the motel, parking across the street. Lauren stepped out, clutching a phone, her movements frantic. She hadn't aged well. Stress had carved lines into her once confident demeanor. David stayed hidden, snapping photos as evidence. He sent them to Sarah, who added them to the restraining order filing. That afternoon, Sarah called with news. The judge approved the restraining order. Lauren's been served. She's barred from contacting you or Ryan. David exhaled, but the tension lingered. He knew Lauren wouldn't stop easily. He met Harris at a truck stop to plan the final move. "I want her gone for good," David said. Harris suggested a legal scare, a cease and desist letter threatening criminal charges for stalking, backed by the evidence of her affair and fraud. "She'll run when she sees it," Harris assured him. The next evening, Lauren appeared at David's house, banging on the door. Ryan texted David, who was at Emily's. "She's here." David raced home, calling the police en route. When he arrived, Lauren was on the porch, shouting, "Jake, I know it's you. I need help." David stepped out, calm but firm. "My name's David Cole. You're trespassing." Ryan appeared behind him, arms crossed. "You're not my mom. Leave." Lauren's voice cracked. "I'm broke, living in my car. You owe me." David pulled out an envelope he'd prepared years ago, containing a $10,000 cashier's check and copies of her incriminating emails. "This is your last chance," he said. "Cash this and disappear, or I press charges for fraud and stalking. You'll never see us again." Lauren stared at the check, hands shaking. The police arrived, lights flashing, and an officer handed her the restraining order. "Ma'am, you need to leave now," he said. She looked at Ryan, tears streaming. "Etan, I'm sorry." Ryan's voice was ice. "My name's Ryan. You lost me when you betrayed Dad." Lauren clutched the envelope, backing away as the officer escorted her to her car. David watched her drive off, the sedan's taillights fading into the dusk. He turned to Ryan. "You okay?" Ryan nodded. "She's gone. We're free." A week later, Sarah confirmed Lauren had cashed the check and left Colorado. Her PI had stopped digging, and Cole Ramsey's bankruptcy was finalized, his reputation ruined. David and Ryan celebrated with Emily, grilling steaks in their backyard. Emily raised a glass. "To new beginnings." David clinked his glass against hers, feeling the weight of his past lift. "To justice," he added. Months later, Cole Construction landed a contract for a luxury resort, cementing David's success. Ryan, now 21, joined the business full-time, his skill with engines earning him respect among clients. David got an email from Sarah. "Lauren's working a desk job in Nevada. She's out of your life." David deleted it, no reply needed. He'd built a future on truth, not lies, and with Ryan and Emily by his side, he'd never look back.